Okay. All right. Can you guys hear me? Muted. Okay, let's try this. Still nothing. Hold on, don't touch anything because I think I've got it. The mic here was muted. We heard you for a second and then it cut out again. It's because we plugged it back in and then the mic took over. So hopefully you guys, okay, we got some good technical difficulties. Volume is on Instagram. Yes, I know you guys can hear me on Instagram. Okay, so Terry says she can hear me. So hopefully, can everyone hear me now? No sound on Instagram. Let's see here. Got it. Okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, we're going to reverse that. All right, so this is what happens. This is what happens when you have other people using your equipment. Jason was in here last week. So as I was saying, we're so excited. It is retreat time here. We are getting ready to go to New Orleans, thus the mask and thus this awesome quilting in the Big Easy retreat shirt. We are so very excited to go to New Orleans. We had a big Zoom meeting last week and we gave all the attendees a whole bunch of details. It's going to be a ton of fun. You guys are going to miss out. But we're going to give you lots of pictures and all sorts of behind the scenes things. It's going to be a ton of fun. So yeah, it's a cute mask, Terry. I'm actually like, I love this. This is where we're doing costumes next week in 2 weeks in New Orleans. And so I think this is going to be part of my costume as we talk about, we're doing a special puzzle mystery quilt. It's Whispers on the Bayou. And so it's exclusive to just the retreat and we're going to have costumes. So I feel like I'm going to borrow this. However, I'm going to take it off here because as you can see, like it was digging into my forehead a little bit. And so we're just going to put that over off to the side and I'm going to return to my glasses so I can actually see my notes in front of me. This is what happens when you get older, gang. You got to put the glasses on to be able to read. Okay. I'm excited about today's show. So today we're going to be talking about planning for holiday sewing projects. And I know it's July and it's blistering where all of you guys are at. I've seen a lot of people check in from Arizona. I'm from Arizona. I know not every part is hot, but you know, it's blistering where you are and it's hard to think about that Christmas sewing. But Dominic was the one to tell me that like Halloween is less than 3 months away, which is like, oh my gosh. So holidays are coming. And when I was thinking about this show, I really challenged Paula to come up with how can we prepare for our holiday sewing now so it's a little less stressful and we might actually be able to enjoy the holiday seasons with our family and our loved ones. Let's see here. No video from Nola. So can we live vicariously? Yes, Marlene, we will be putting lots of content up. Dominic is actually coming to New Orleans with us. And so he will be in charge of collecting videos and snippets and photos and getting all that stuff. Okay. Let's see here. So good morning. I see people checking in from all over. Thank you guys so much for spending your Thursday morning with us. So we're going to start as we always do with questions submitted by you guys. So go to cottoncuts.com/live to submit a question next week. These are here on the table when I get here and we'll see where this adventure takes us today. Okay. So the first question. Hi Cotton Cuts. This is Michelle from Portland, Oregon. Hello, Michelle. I participated in Mystery 5.0 Mini Mystery with one of the pre-cut kits. Thank you so much for that. And absolutely loved it. I'm really interested in the Shop Your Stash option for the next mystery quilt Aloha. Can you walk me through exactly how that works? I think I understand that I pay $50 and get a $25 gift card back, but I'm confused about when I get the cutting instructions and yardage requirements. Also, how do I know if I have the right types of fabrics in my stash to make it work? I have a lot of fabric and I'm not sure it's the right kind for the mystery quilt. Okay, so I know the Shop Your Stash option. It's been a little back and forth, a little confusing. And so I'm going to tell you what I know now. And then we're going to be dropping another video later today or tomorrow. And you'll see lots of videos on Shop Your Stash from all the participating shops today. And so we can give you yardage requirements now, but we cannot give you the actual kind of this fabric needs to be light and this fabric needs to be dark and this fabric needs to contrast. We can't tell you any of that yet. We can tell you that I think it's August 1st is when we can give you the specific information for fabric choices. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give you off the top of my head what I know the fabric requirements are. And I'm going to give you a little hint as to what kind of each print is going to be so you can make sure that you're looking at it in the right place. So it is for your Aloha Shop Your Stash. You need one, and I'm going to use the word strip pack. And so as we talked about in our show a couple weeks ago, they're not all jelly rolls because jelly rolls are Moda brand. So you need one strip pack that is 2.5-inch strips of a variety of prints. You need to have at least 32 different prints. So make sure, I think we still have one here. Sure. Here. So get something like this. Make sure it has 32 prints in it. Some of the mini jelly rolls, some of the mini strip packs don't have 32 prints in them. Make sure it has 32 prints in it. And so in the Cotton Cuts pre-cut kits, we simplified it down to 16. But if you're doing the Shop Your Stash, it's a strip pack of 32 strips is what you're going to need. And so that shortcuts one of the cuts, the 2.5-inch strips. So make sure you got your strip pack, at least 32 prints. You're going to need 2 contrasting fabrics. And when I say contrast, they need to be able to contrast against your background fabric. And you need a 1/2 yard of each. And then for your 4th fabric, it's going to be your background. So you're going to use a lot of this. You better love this print because it's going to be in your fabric a lot. You'll need 2.5 yards. And then, of course, your binding. And so that depends on if you add extra borders and whatnot. But it starts at about 2/3 of a yard. So we're going to put a video out with all that information in it. If you are an active Mystery 50 participant, you're following other shops and you're seeing there are some shops that are saying they don't want to do a strip pack. It's all going to be a solid. And then they're doing 2 fabrics and 4 fabrics and 8 fabrics. We're going to keep it real tight and simple here, gang. It's going to be a strip pack, 2 contrast fabrics, and a background fabric. We can give you more information about exactly how those colors will play together on August 1st. Again, guys, we're doing this with a whole coalition of quilt shops. So we have to play within the rules that we're given, but that should hopefully be enough for you to get going. Is you need a strip pack, 2 contrast fabrics, and a background fabric. And so we'll have a whole video that'll give you all that information a little later today. Okay, thanks so much for your question, Michelle. That was super awesome of you. I'm glad we got to talk about that because the Shop Your Stash has been kind of a thing that we've been doing. It's on the website now. So you go ahead and log in. You'll pay your $50. That'll give you access to all the emailed clues, all the instructions, as well as a welcome packet. And you get a $25 gift card back to you as well, which you can use if you're short a contrast fabric or need some binding fabric. You can always come to Cotton Cuts. We would love to have you. All right, let's see here. And don't forget, if you bought your pre-cut kit, you don't have to worry about literally anything I just said. It is all completely pre-cut for you. If you've gotten those kits, you'll see it's a lot of squares, a lot of strips, a lot of triangles. It is going to save you a ton of time because I've seen these instructions and it is make 90 something of this, make 40 something of this. And you're not going to have to cut any of that because it's all cut for you. All right, let's go to our next question. So hello, I'm Sandra from Nashville, Tennessee. I've been following along with Cotton Cuts retreat announcements and I'm so excited about the possibility of attending one. Woohoo! I know you have 2 amazing locations already. Can you give us any hints about where future retreats might be? I'm particularly curious if you might ever consider doing retreats in different regions of the country or maybe even internationally. I'd love to start planning ahead if possible. Okay, so Sandra, so you are reading our minds right now. So we, of course, we're trying to take this 6 months at a time. So for this 6 months of 2025, our 2 retreat locations were New Orleans and Sonoma. So we are going to be announcing in very short order our next retreat location for the first 6 months of 2026. And definitely to what you've put in here, we're looking at different geographic locations. Understanding New Orleans and Sonoma, we're also going to start looking in the Northeast and possibly the Southeast and in other places as well. We want to make sure that they're, really cool, exotic places that you would want to go to on vacation, but you can go to on vacation and also sew. And so be on the lookout shortly. We're going to be announcing a signature and a signature light for the first half of 2026. And we're also investigating doing a smaller scale retreat, a smaller scale retreat, one in which you bring your own projects and you sit, sew, and you gather with your friends. And so all those things are in the hopper. We're trying to get through New Orleans, right? This is our first one. We're really learning a lot as we go, and we're figuring out a whole bunch of fun things. And so we want to make sure that we're leveraging those learnings into our next ones. But look out, a save the date is going to be coming for 2026 very soon. So Sandra, thank you so much for your question. And then don't forget, so like I said, Dominic is going to be with me. He's not with me today. Sorry, he has volleyball camp. Normally he would be sitting here. But he has volleyball camp today. He'll be here next week. And we're investigating the possibility of doing a live show that Thursday from New Orleans. Giuseppe is going to be teaching his class and going over some concepts. And so we want to make sure we're making sure retreat attendees actually get that content. But we'll see if Dominic and I can do a live show from the actual retreat. Lindsay says cutting yardage is the worst part of sewing for her. I agree. That's part of the reason why we pre-cut everything because cutting is the worst part for me. Melissa Feldhouse is amazing because she is saying to go hit the thumbs up on this video, guys, so we can get tons of people in here. These tips that I'm about to give you, we were collating them, and I am beyond stoked at some of the things we're going to be sharing soon. All right, so shop update. So what's happening this week with the Cotton Cuts team? So we are shipping a lot of stuff, and we're shipping a lot of stuff on time, and that makes my heart very happy because we are on time and on track. So this week we shipped out our Java and our Chroma and our Modern Makers. Those all went out the shop, out the door. Everything is on its way to you guys if you are members of those lovely boxes. We also are going to be shipping out our Classic next week and our Snippet next week. We also had our Cuddle books, this cute little books. These guys, Paula gave me one. We also shipped out our Cuddle books this past week. This is so fun, you guys. If you are needing books for the littles in your life, these are definitely super cute. They're quick. They're fun. When I had my children, they were 18 months apart. I didn't have a lot of time to sew. And so these were fun little things that I could feel like I was making something for them. Both boys still have all the books I made. It makes me so proud because they are, 13 and 14 now, and they still have these books, which I felt like I was stealing a lot of time to make, and they still love and enjoy them. Lindsay says she loves her Chroma. Fantastic. I love that, Lindsay. Those threads just bring me so much joy. We actually had a sewing project this week in the shop, so we needed one of my team to sew something, and we went to our Chroma threads, and it was a fantastic way to add a pop of coordinating color, and they look fantastic. Will we be doing an Advent? Yes, Michelle, we are definitely doing an Advent. That is coming. We have to get through a couple of projects first, but we are definitely doing an Advent program this year. What it looks like, feels like, smells like, and will look like will come. Usually we do that end of August, beginning of September. So more is coming on that. All right. And Marlene got her Java. Woohoo. Love that. Under the sea, under the sea, under the sea. So let's talk about under the sea for a chunk, because while all these other things have been going on, the team has been absolutely blasting through under the sea. You guys, I am so proud of having both machines available, having everyone here. Everyone is doing incredible work, and our under the sea program is in incredible shape. I was looking, and I think for Under the Sea, it took us about a month to get all of our prepaid shipped and out to you guys. And we are looking at having probably 60% of them out by next Friday and the rest out by the week following. You guys, they are destroying it. And so if you're wondering where your prepaid colorway is in the process, the tracker is now up on the website. So if you go to cottoncuts.com, where is my stuff? Paula is on it. That's awesome. So if you go to where is my stuff, it'll show you. And so if you are a shipwrecked, a Sea Bloom, or a Triton Detective, those prepaid boxes are going to be shipping. I think we might get some out by Friday, but all definitely next week. And all Clue ones are going to be on time by next Friday. So I want to make sure that we'll probably next week in our live show, we'll probably talk about what you're going to get. So that way, when you get it, you'll know what's going on, but you'll get your Clue ones, you'll get your prepaids, and you get all of your backings. We do have a couple backings that the manufacturers are a little delayed on. We'll contact you if that applies to you, but you're going to get all of your prepaids and all of your backing at the beginning of the program. It is great, you guys. These parts, they're coming off the dies. They're looking fantastic. So happy and so proud with what the team is doing. All right. And then, of course, we've got this little retreat coming up, and we've got a whole bunch of things going on there. And it's just keeping us busy, which gets me to the main topic for today's show. So I want to talk about holiday sewing. And so I know in the quilting world, it's super common for it to be Christmas in July, right? This is kind of a thing. You go to most quilt shops and they've got Christmas in July. And I know it sounds kind of weird that that's a thing, but it's actually when the manufacturers start delivering Christmas fabric into shops. Halloween fabric usually lands in May and June, and Christmas fabric lands in June and July. And so for quilt shops, it's really common to have a Christmas in July sale or promotion, because that's when all their Christmas and holiday fabric is really starting to arrive. So that's kind of the origin of how we got to this Christmas in July promotions in a quilt shop. And so as I was thinking about this, I don't know about you guys, but every year, oops, something just fell down. It's okay. We'll get it later. When I start thinking about holiday sewing, I start thinking about holiday sewing about November 15th. And guys, that's real. That's the world I live in. Is it's like, okay, I want to be making gifts for people. Now it's November, and now I am crushed, and I'm, staying up late to finish projects, and I'm quilting, and I'm, going to the fabric store and making the desperate purchases to get my quilting done, my sewing done, all the homemade projects I want to make. And so I want to give you guys some tips and tricks that we've been able to put together to help avoid that mad dash. So starting November 15th, you can actually enjoy the holiday parties you're going to, and you can actually enjoy all the white elephants and all the exchanges and all of the family time that's really the reason for the holiday season. So let's talk about that. So, holiday sewing, it feels a lot more, it feels different than a traditional kind of sewing or handmade projects, right? So if I sit down at my sewing machine today, usually I'm sewing for fun. I'm sewing because I have a project in mind and it's a stress relief for me, or I've got a friend who has a birthday in a couple of weeks and there's not a lot of emotional connection to it. Usually I have plenty of time. I can squeeze it in between the other things I'm working on. But when it comes down to holiday sewing, you've got hard deadlines, and usually the volume of sewing that you're putting on yourself is much higher than other times of the year. And we want to make it perfect because it's going to be a holiday gift, which we have built up in our minds to think has to have a higher level of meaning and a higher level of importance. And so, it really comes down to the person that receiving your gift. They don't want you to feel stressed. They don't want you to feel that pressure. They're going to love what you give them because you have made it. And I know that as quilters, we put pressure on ourselves from the quilt police. Every point has to match. Every corner has to match. And unless you can see it galloping by on a horse, the person you're gifting to is not going to see it either. And they're going to love it. And they're going to use it just as much as you intended it to without all the stress on making it perfect. Now, there's a planning strategy, and this is something we call the 3-tier system. And so it's kind of something that I think I am going to be using this year because there's a way to categorize when you think about your gift giving for the holiday season in a way that kind of separates and striates by importance. So the first tier are the must-have gifts. So these are the gifts that you absolutely positively have to make. These are the ones that, it's a special quilt for a first Christmas, for a first Hanukkah, for a first Halloween. It's stockings for family members that have just moved into a new house. It's one of these things that these are the ones that there's some sentimental connectivity to it, and it's a must-have that it actually gets made and delivered in time for the holiday season. Then you have a second tier of gifts. And so these are the want-to-haves. These are the things that, are lovely, but are not essential. So it could be like a teacher gift, which we all want to make those gifts for teachers, but that is a want-to-have, not a must-have. Things like a table runner, like if you have had the same tree skirt on your tree for a long period of time, it still works, it's still functional, but you want to have something that's maybe more modern, or maybe that's a different design, or maybe you have a second tree. Those are all your want-to-haves, right? These can happen if time allows. And then your third tier, this is where I get stuck. Personally, this is where I spend way too much time and then cram the must-haves in at the end, is the dream projects. These are, wouldn't it be amazing if it is done in time for the holidays, right? And so you've got tier 1, which are the must-haves, your want-to-haves, and then your dream projects. And so this is and there's a list here, and I'll tell you what my dream project. So it's a full Christmas quilt, very themed, a fully bound, fully quilted, ginormous quilt for a large bed. Matching aprons for everyone. I find that adorable. Matching aprons for everybody. And elaborate decorations. For me, matching pajamas for my family. And so for me, my dream project is that one day I'll be able to sew matching pajamas for my entire family. And every year, because I get stuck in that idea that it's a dream project, we end up going to Old Navy on like December 20th and scrapping together whatever is left over. But those dream projects are wouldn't it be amazing if you had time to get it done? And so as you're thinking about your gifting strategy this year, it might be helpful to think about them in these tiers. That way, when push comes to shove and you're forced to think like, should I do A or should I do B? Is it a must-have? Is it a want-to-have? Or is it a dream project? Okay. So when you start putting these projects in these tiers, then it's time to start thinking about how long it's going to take to sew each project. And so I know that there's some overly ambitious ones of us that think, oh, I can make that quilt in like an hour. and then 6 days later, you're still sewing on it, right? So I think this is kind of, it's good to take this hard look now as to how long each project is going to take when you're not feeling crushed, or when you're not feeling like there's 75 things on a list and here's this one. And of course I can get it done in an hour, and then you're still working on it many days later. And so there's this, again, kind of a tier system, which I love. I love the structure associated with this. So there's 4 categories of projects. So first is a quick gift, which is 2 to 4 hours each. And so think about, pot holders, mug rugs, bookmarks, simple tote bags, kitchen towels. These are the kind of quick projects that you can fill in for like at the end when you're like, oh my God, I forgot about that person. I forgot about, a neighbor. I forgot about our postal carrier. I forgot about a teacher. I forgot about this person in our life. These are the kinds of things that you can definitely squeeze in as a quick project. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people with time estimates. Yeah, that you think it's going to be done quickly, and then before you know it, it's not. Time estimation is always difficult. I need to add 2 days to my estimate and then multiply by 3. I love your math there, Jana. I feel like that's super accurate. And there's so many quilts I want to make all at once. So narrowing that down and being realistic about what I can actually accomplish is hard, Erin. I think that's absolutely true too. And I think what happens is without this level of planning and thinking about it, we tend to put too many dream projects in that are large projects. And when you actually do the math, there's literally not enough time in the day to get it all done. Tishua was talking about cuddle infinity scarves that can be done in about 30 minutes. Yeah, Tishua, that's definitely a quick gift category. That's the I've got it. I've made like 5 or 6. And then because there's always those people that at the last minute, I'm like, oh, we forgot. Oh, we need to add. We need to do this. Then there's what we call medium projects. So medium projects are 1 to 2 days each, times 3 if you're doing Jana math. Table runners, placemats, simple bags, fabric baskets, wall hangings. And so these are more substantial than a quick, like I can get it done super quickly, but they do take a chunk of time because you are cutting, you are piecing, you are doing some advanced construction before it is finished and before it is done. Major projects. And so this estimate that was put together was 1 to 2 weeks. And so I think if you're singularly focused on one project, this major project could be done in 1 to 2 weeks. And so quilts, complex bags, matching sets of items. So these are, tier 1 projects for your most important people. So this is the one where this is the thing that I feel like many people try to jam 5 or 6 major projects in the last 6 weeks of the year. And that's where we get stuck because we feel like we're stealing time to have to make these quick gifts and these medium projects because we've put too many major projects in too short of a window. Hello, Crystal. It's good to see you. Gianna is saying that the cuddle books, which we talked about at the start, amazing time saver for babies, right? So this is a quick gift project, you guys. This is definitely one of those things that you could grab, you can put it together and you could have for the oh my gosh, I've got a neighbor that just had a baby, or there's that, husband's coworker and spouse's coworker that had a baby, right? Those are quick, fun projects to put in. And then the last one is kind of, it's not really a quick, medium, or a major, but a decorative project. And so I know when we usually think about holiday sewing, we think about gift giving, but there's always the decorative projects. And so this is where you can dress up your house for Halloween, for Hanukkah, for Christmas, for Thanksgiving. And this is kind of the fun little decorative projects that you can add and make your home more personal each holiday season. I know in our house, we have a good mix of handmade versus store-bought items as we go through the kind of the fall, winter seasons. And so, yeah, decorative projects, but definitely make sure that those decorative projects get done earlier when you're planning your process, because the decorative projects are ones you want to enjoy versus I'm guilty when I say this, the table runner that is done on December 25th in the morning so you can use it for Christmas dinner. Guilty. I've definitely been that person that's been like, oh my gosh, I got this Halloween. I need to make bags for the kids to go trick-or-treating, and they're done on October 31st. So yes. Okay, evidently the infinity scarves. We need to look this up, Paula. This infinity scarf project people are talking about. This sounds like a fantastic quick holiday project for everyone. Okay, so when it comes down to your fabric choices, right? And so I know you're thinking about how important is the project? How long is it going to take me? But then another element is, what are your fabric choices? And so, like I said, a lot of quilt shops are getting Christmas fabric right now. And Christmas fabric is a lot of on the nose Christmas. It's a lot of poinsettias and Christmas trees and, you know, the red trucks and Santas, a lot of very novelty type themes. But that doesn't play well for all the people that like the holiday season. And so there's good opportunities to say, you know, holiday without screaming holiday. And so some good examples of this are using red and green fabrics. You can use grunges, you can use solids. You can do a lot of different things that give you a holiday feel without screaming Christmas in your face. I'm a big fan of a blue Christmas. And so I know that's a little different, but you know, we have blue placemats on our table. We have a lot of blue, and I like the cool blue with silver. It, to me, that says more Christmas than necessarily like a poinsettia or a Christmas tree does. Erin is saying she's terrible at starting Christmas projects before the season. I don't think of it until it's too close to Christmas to get it done in time. Absolutely, Erin. Like, that's why we're talking about this today. I want to get you guys thinking about it because August is a great time to start thinking and planning. Tishua loves blue and silver and rainbow themes. Yes, I think that, you know, I think when I was growing up, we lived in a world where all Christmas was, you know, Crayola red and Crayola green, but we've definitely stretched past that. The teal, pink, and aquas, like all of that is definitely something that stretches past Christmas. And I know Art Gallery does a lot of non-traditional Halloween and Christmas prints as well. It's just, it doesn't have to scream Christmas to be a holiday fabric. Let's see here. And there's also a lot of winter themes as well. And so I think this is why Paula put these items here. So like this is a table runner. One of our new employees actually just sewed this together. She wants to get started in quilting. And so like it's very like fancy and elegant, and it has a holiday theme without really, and it's got poinsettias in it, people, but they're not the like traditional Crayola red and green. And so just think about that as you're thinking about your projects. And also, I mean, what is the utility of the project that you're making as well? Is it something you want to have someone be able to use all year round, or is it very specific for a specific point in time? Let's see here. Tisha was saying she started Christmas gifts last month. She doesn't even need to hear this. She is like on it. Lesson learned. And she loves taupe too. I love taupe. Taupe and greige as a color are two fantastic uses. Now, so time management. So we've been talking a lot about, we need these systems because time management can be a challenge for many of us towards the end of the year. And, you know, I think the planning for the what ifs, for me, my most stressful holiday season was December 15th when my sewing machine decided it didn't want to work anymore. And so that year I had to compromise and do a lot of shortcuts, right? So there's always that, like, what if that happens? What if your sewing machine goes down? Now I know most of us have a backup machine and a backup and a backup, but if you only have one sewing machine and that goes down, you need to make sure that you're planning your time appropriately. And so these are kind of tips and tricks to help make sure that you get to that finish line comfortably. And so the first one is an assembly line method, which like sings to my heart. So happy. I am an engineer. In the shop, we do one thing well. So if you're going to be ironing, you iron. If you cut, you're cut. If you're folding, you fold. And so the assembly line method is, instead of looking at all of your projects one at a time as a finite beginning and an end, is take a group of projects that are similar. So for example, if you have like 8 of these infinity scarves you want to make, you cut all the fabric at the same time. You do all the same stitching steps at the same time. You do all the finishing steps at the same time. And so if you're, do all your piecing, do all your quilting, and it's more efficient that way to kind of program your brain to be like, okay, today is my cut day. I'm going to cut all my projects today. Today is my sewing day. I'm going to sew all my projects today. And then today is my finishing day. I'm going to finish all my projects today. And so assembly line is a time saver. I get stuck in the starting and stopping. Right? So I've got a project. I have enough time to cut it. Okay, I cut it. And then I come and sew it. And then I finish it. And before you know it, like 4 days have elapsed. And then I have to go back and start cutting again. And I think this assembly line method is a fantastic approach. Now, I know this rule is not going to work for me, but I'm going to share it with you guys because it might work for you. And then you might be able to use it. But so the 15-minute rule, commit 15 minutes of holiday sewing each day starting in August. And so with just 15 minutes each day starting in August, you're committing a little bit of time each day. And by the end, you'll have accomplished so much. That is something that I know I am a binger. I'm a binge sewer. I need to get a lot done because my time is usually allocated in 3 or 4 hours once a week. Excuse me, 15 minutes each day feels like a challenge. Like I feel like I would spend 15 minutes, and of that 15 minutes, I'd spend 3 minutes remembering what I forgot yesterday, and then only 12 minutes actually getting stuff done. But if that works for you, if that intentionality, if that commitment works for you, then please, by all means, try it. Because 15 minutes each day, you will accumulate a lot of time by the time the holidays arrive. Batching similar projects. So we alluded to this at the beginning. And so making, 3 table runners at one time is only this much more work than making one. So if you do the same step 3 times, and you have 3 table runners at the end, the actual incremental time is not the same as doing 3 one at a time. So if, as you're looking at your tiers, and if as you're looking at your time to complete your projects, if you can find any harmonizations between them, then definitely batch the similar projects. Tisha was saying her kids and grandbaby won't let that 15 minutes happen. Yeah, I think the 15, I don't know where if you think the 15 minutes would work for you, can you share with us how that would work for you? I don't know. I think it's very aspirational, but I think I would definitely be interested in looking at that. All right. So now that you've got your tiers, now that you've got how long it's going to take to complete each project, and now that you've done some techniques and done some time management, I'm going to put these projects together and we're going to batch, and we're going to, take 15 minutes chain sewing, as Tishua says. Once you've got all that things together, now you are getting ready to go, and you are off and running, and you know that you're going to have enough time to get there. So what are some things that we can do to make it fun, right? At Cotton Cuts, we like having fun, which is we enjoy what we do. We love pre-cutting things because we know that takes one of the major steps of the process out for you, that you don't have to worry about, that you don't have to stress about. And so, play. And so here's some ideas to kind of keep in the spirit, so that you can remember what the end is and what the end game is, and relieve some stress. And so the first is play holiday music while you sew. Now, I know that it's super contentious, and I'm hesitant to even say this, but playing holiday music while you sew. And I know there's some people that are, they don't play Christmas music before December 1st or November 1st or October 1st and think Christmas music in the summer is weird. Whatever is for you, like if you are that person and it makes you happy, then playing that holiday music while you sew is a fantastic kind of getting in the spirit type of moment. Sewing with your friends. Right? So if you make a commitment with a group of friends that, hey, we're not going to do what we do every year. We're not going to wait until the last minute to make these projects. So set up like every other week on Thursday, we're going to get together, and our focus is really just to focus on our holiday projects. And we're going to play holiday music because it's just us, and that's what we're doing. Let's see here. Erin says she has 4 little ones, so she doesn't sew until after their bedtime if she's still awake. I feel like once they're in bed, 15 minutes could be squeezed in. Jana is saying there's a space-time continuum in her sewing room. 15 minutes always becomes an hour and a half. I think that's the, take it, double it, times it by 3 math. And then Melissa says she listens to Hallmark Christmas movies while she's sewing. So do Hallmark Christmas movies go year round? I think they do. Let's see here. Kelly says it takes 15 minutes to even thread her sewing machine. Kelly, I feel you. You are seen. Let's see here. We talked about documenting the process. And so I think this is something that I'm not very good at, is taking pictures of the process as I'm going through and making the projects. And I feel like that's one of those things that, it's a progress photo. Whenever we talk about, health and losing weight, it's kind of that progress photo, just so you can remind yourself what you've accomplished from where you started. And I feel like that's a good tip, is just maybe, when you start each day, is take a photo. And then when it goes after a couple of weeks, you can go back and remember all the things that you've accomplished and feel pride and a little less stress with that. Handmade doesn't have to be perfect. Even if you're giving your gift to a master sewer, a master quilter, Handmade does not have to be perfect. And have a backup plan. As I mentioned, right, say you're going to run out of that fabric, or your machine's going to go down, or you're going to run out of thread on a Sunday at noon and there's no place open to get it, right? All those things, just have a backup plan. And I think having this mapped out of tiers and complexity, I think that'll help you kind of plan ahead. So you can, for example, buy all your thread at one time. You can buy all your fabric at one time. And that is super helpful, because something is not going to go as expected. And so I was told when I got married that, managing expectations, something is not going to go according to plan. As long as your husband is there and he's wearing socks, which was kind of our inside joke, you're going to get married, right? And so thinking about something's not going to go as you planned and just accepting that and being okay with that will help kind of eliminate that pressure when something does not go according to your plan. All right, let me see here. Erin is saying she doesn't allow Christmas music in her house until after Thanksgiving. My husband is not one of those people, and it drives her crazy. Let's see here. Not sewing, but I always put winter decorations and scents in my bathroom in the summer, fall, spring, fall. Spring in the fall, and summer in the winter. I like that. You're kind of preparing for the next season. I'm good with Christmas music as long as it's not Mariah Carey because people have worn her out. Tishua, valid, fair. When we're listening to Christmas music here in the shop, we hear a lot of Mariah. It's good, but woof. Okay. And let's see here. I love her, but I can't hear her anymore without wanting to cry. Yes. Okay. Melissa's in her house. She's watching Rudolph in July. I love that. And I feel that. Okay. So how do you get some of this stuff done? So how can Cotton Cuts help you? So first of all, if you've got a Cotton Cuts membership, we are already stuffing your stash with fabrics that you can use to make quick projects, hard projects, complex projects. So now is a good time to kind of bring those out and think, what can you use them for? And what can they be starters? What can they be inspiration for? Do you have enough Cuddle books now? Can you look at the memberships that Cotton Cuts has been working? And is there a way that you can use some of that for some of these projects as you're planning and as you're preparing for it? And because we're super awesome and we love to give back to you guys, we're going to be opening up the Cotton Cuts vault for this weekend. And so as you're going through and thinking about your tiers and your complexities, if there's something that you need that you want to just boost. So we've got bolt-ins in the shop, we've got clearance fabric, we have remnants, we have a whole bunch of stuff that you can use to jumpstart and kickstart some of that projects and some of those plannings now. So our vault is going to be open from now until Sunday. So take a look, swing by, see if there's anything in there that inspires you. We do have a lot of holiday fabrics, which hint, hint is going to be coming up in a future mystery quilt. So definitely take a look in there and see if there's anything you want to get a jump start on some of your holiday projects. Oh my gosh, you guys are fantastic. These comments, let's see here. Snippets for gifts. Tissue. Snippet is a fantastic idea for a gift. Cheryl, I don't know if you guys saw it, but every Monday at 11 o'clock in the shop, we do a show and share. And Cheryl brought in a quilt that she had made using snippets. And it was a good lap size quilt. She made it for a baby, and it was all snippets. I mean, you guys are doing so many fantastic things with the snippets. It makes my heart very, very happy. Is there a Zoom sewing tonight? Yes, Jana, there should be a Zoom sewing tonight. I believe that they are working on it and it is in progress. Pentatonics. Yeah. I went to a Pentatonics concert a long time ago, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. Erin says she used snippets for book covers and table runners. Sew and flip makes it easy for a quick project. Yes, they're fantastic for improv quilting as well. Tishua was saying she needs more peppermint sprinkles to make a matching quilt for the pillow she won last year. I think it's on the website, Tishua, and it might even be on sale in the vault if you go to cottoncutsvault.com. I know we definitely have more of that fabric here in the shop. Okay, let me see. All right, if you guys have any tips on how you survive the holiday sewing season, we'll call holidays from Halloween all the way through the New Year's, please, by all means, find this video and share them with everybody because we're all learning. Not everyone has the right answers. I think we're all we have a way, we're testing, we're learning, we're iterating. And I believe that's what makes us as quilters unique is that there is definitely more than one way to get to January 1st with all the projects we have on our list. So thank you guys so much for staying with me to the end. I hope we've given you something to think about. I know it's July and I know we're not thinking about this right now, but hopefully this is enough to jumpstart some creative juices flowing in you. We're going to do our giveaway now. And so for the giveaway, we're going to give a $25 gift card to one lucky person who answers this question. So find us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. The question to ask, and I like this because it kind of flips the equation. We've been talking a lot about us as sewers, makers, and quilters making things for other people, but what is the best handmade gift that you have ever received and why? So find this video, put in your answer. What is the best thing that you have received? And I think that I'm excited to see your answers to these questions because the things that we value as gifts that we've received might inspire someone else to think about giving a different gift. And so I love all of that. For me, the best handmade gift that I've ever received, this is going to be super cheesy, guys, but I'm going here. My kids, when they're in school, when they were in preschool and when they were in elementary school would always bring home the best Christmas gifts for me, like the little ornaments with their little fingertips on them. They would bring home collage projects. They would, all the silly things for Thanksgiving. In kindergarten, the teacher would always ask them, how do you make a turkey? And, all the recipes from these kindergartners and their perception of, like, my mom just puts it in the oven and then it comes out 3 hours later and it's done. I mean, all of those have such special sentimental value to me. Those are the best handmade gifts that I have received. But I would love to hear from you guys. What are the best handmade gifts that you guys have ever received? All right. So some quick reminders. Cotton Cuts Vault is open. Mark your show for next week. Dominic will be back and he's going to pick our topic for next week. That kid, he's still okay. So we had the show where we were talking about different stars and we were talking about the Lemoyne star. That kid is still trying to figure out how it is easier to make the Lemoyne star over a traditional star block. So he is working on that. That video should be ready next week, but we will be back next week with a fantastic show. Let's see here. I think I got everything. Paula, did I get everything? All right. Fantastic. Thank you guys so much for spending your Thursday with us. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. It is almost the end of July, if you can believe it. Stay inside, stay cool, and we will see you guys all next week. That is it for us. Have a great week, and we will see you soon. Bye now. And cut. Thank you so much for watching our video. We have so much fun making these, and we hope that you were both delighted and inspired by what you just watched. This video was sponsored by Cotton Cuts. Cotton Cuts is your one stop for all the best fabric and thread memberships. Love fabric? We've got you covered. Love thread? We've got you covered. We get that no two quilters are cut from the same cloth, which is why our memberships are as unique as you. We also have the largest block of the month in the world. Over 4,000 detectives solve our puzzle mystery quilts every year, and you can join them. Simply go to cottoncuts.com to learn more about all the awesome and fun things that we're doing. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe to make sure you get all of our new fresh content every time it comes out. Thank you so much. Happy sewing enthusiasts, and we will see you soon. Bye now.